Hi, and welcome back to the Popcorn for Dinner podcast. And wait, sorry, hold on. I sneeze in threes. Today we're engaging in the super high risk mission of discussing the first half of Amazon Prime Video's Mr. and Mrs. Smith reimagining. And if you guys listened to the previous episode, you know who was going to be on this episode because he was a fervent advocate before the episodes even dropped. So
A
joining me on this
believer.
mission, he's the Jane to my John. And I'm very
Oh.
sure, actually, I'm pretty sure, I think he has two hands. It's TMT. Welcome back to the podcast, TMT. You do have two hands.
Hi, hi.
Hi, hi.
Hi, how you doing, man? Nice to
Good.
see you.
How are you?
Our first part of the year, right?
Our first one of the year, yeah. Like first pod we're recording of the year. Just a peek behind the curtains, I guess. But yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Can't wait to get into this with you. I've been trying to talk to normal people about it, but they just don't get my excitement. And
So there's someone what person that's going to produce this episode, Ebuka, shout out Ebuka. He's watched because obviously he's producing, so he's watched the episodes as well. He too likes it. So I think
mm,
yeah. Well, spoiler alert, I like the episode. So I think maybe the masses will like the show if they wanted to give it
mm,
a chance. But before we
mm.
get into all of that, quickly, Is This Cinema is back? That's our film podcast. They came back earlier this week. They talked about Poor Things. So if you've seen the Yorgos Lanthimos latest film, please check that out and
Or
check
if
out
you
their
like poor
discussion.
people, also watch it.
Weirdly, the movie is not about poor people. Everybody in
I
that movie
know.
is rich. No,
I've
I
read the
know,
book.
but like every single person is rich. It's just
Yeah.
and every time we see poor people in that movie, it's an emotional god punch. Have you
Yeah.
watched the movie?
No, I've read the book.
Oh, yeah, it is based on a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is based on a book.
This
Apparently,
Scottish author, I can't remember his name,
yeah,
but
apparently
yeah.
he's kind of changed it because he removed all the Scottish things from the book. It was
hmm
like he
hmm
doesn't feel like as a Greek person he should tell that kind of Scottish story. So he's
Yeah.
based in England. He removed everything, and I think the book has different perspective, if I'm not
Mm,
mistaken. And this one is
mm,
just solely the one perspective. But yeah,
yeah.
Emma Stone is incredible in it. It's Macrofalo is lights out in it. So yeah, please check out their discussion on Poor
How is
Things.
Rami in it?
I can only tell you he's great because I was just so happy to see Rami Youssef in this movie. Like, so my letterbox review was Rami Youssef, Gerard Carmichael, and Christopher Abbott in
mm,
a Yorgos film. Like, this is how I win. I was just so happy to see my favorite TV stars in a Yorgos film. So, yeah, Rami is good. Rami is charming in it.
yeah.
Gerard comes in for like a 10-minute heater where he's just being like
Himself.
eccentric. Yeah, it's like himself now, the Gerard now, but like
Mm.
more eccentric and everything. And he's wearing a shirt as opposed to
I
real life Gerard.
I call Christopher Abbott John Hill because
John,
he's like, because he looks like a Harrington.
so this is, I want you to land up because I call him the TV Kit Harrington, but that doesn't make sense because Kit
What's
Harrington is from
he's a TV
TV.
star? Yeah.
but But like he's like if Kit Harington is a movie star, I'm not saying he is, but if Kit Harington is a movie star, then you're like, oh, Christopher Abbott is.
Yeah.
I'm so happy someone else sees that resemblance. I thought it was just me because I call him the
Oh
TV
yeah.
TV Kit
That
Harington.
I think that was a thing for a while. It would be like there would always be like a TV version of a major movie star.
Mm-hmm.
So you would
And I
have like Burt Reynolds and Tom Selleck and like,
yeah.
yeah,
So
like
like
this person, yeah.
obviously it doesn't work because Kit Harington is a TV star, but like yeah, in
hmm
just this case, like Kit Harington is a movie star. So yeah,
I mean,
Christopher
he's
Abbott
been in
too.
movies.
He's
They've both been in movies.
has Kit Harington
He,
been in movies? Okay,
he
he's been
was
in movies.
he,
But like,
he,
are we gonna?
he was in Seventh Son with Jeff Bridges and Ben Barnes. Have you seen
I
Seventh
do not
Son?
know that movie at all.
Oh, you
Kit
shouldn't.
Harington.
It's a bad film. Yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, let's go. Okay, speaking of recording with TMT, over the last few weeks, we were looking back at 2023. So we did things like our top five TV episodes of the year with AO, which was
That's
very
true.
fun.
That's true.
We did my top 10, went over my top 10 list of the year, which was also quite fun. And then Chinasa was here, a friend of the pod, to talk about the Bear season 2. So, guys, please check all of that out. That'll be out on the feed. And I also brought out a list on my most anticipated shows of the year 2024. So, yeah, check all of that out, please. Okay.
Check
Oh,
it
and
out.
finally, we're doing a newsletter. Hopefully in March. The link to subscribe will be in the description to this episode. So please subscribe. Please check your emails for the confirmation email It might go to your spam folder or your junk folder, so please check. Okay, okay. Let's go. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. This is the reimagining of the 2005 movie.
I don't think it's a reimagining.
What do you think it is?
I think it's a legacy sequel.
No, but it's like the essential premise is different in that in
Yes,
this
but
case they
I
know
think I think it's the same universe where, because the original John and Jane Smith were so um good together, they made it like a
a
thing.
thing.
Because remember, there's a point where I don't even know if we can say this based on the embargo, but like
No, you can say, it, but this will be releasing after the embargo. So as long as yeah, you
oh,
can say it.
perfect. So there's a point where they say that the program has been in existence for 15 years,
Yes.
and then you calculate it and you're like, that's around the time the first movie came out as well.
So you think this was after? So you do you think whose agency do you think this is?
I think
Um,
it's the agency that's okay. I know Brad Pitt's character was like an independent contractor, right?
no, because he worked with like Vince Vaughn and didn't they have their own? To be fair, I think their boss
Yeah,
was cut out of the movie. I think it was going to be Angela Bassett. I think she was cut out of the
yeah.
movie.
I think because I know that neither of the characters from the movies, I don't think neither of them worked for a government agency.
No, no, it wasn't government. No.
Yeah, it was kind of like Archer, like this private
Yeah,
spy
yeah.
espionage thing. And so
Hmm.
I think one of those companies, one of their respective companies, or maybe their companies merged or something.
Okay.
And
Well,
that would be,
that's a good.
yeah, that would be more interesting, I think.
I I don't know. They're not more interested. I don't know if I see it, but like it's a good
Mm.
head canon to have.
Yeah, it feels like it's in the same universe.
That's fair. But yes, so okay, whether it's a reimagining or a legacy sequel, it's created by Francesca Sloan and Donald Glover. It's starring Donald Glover and Maya Erskine, and just a conveyor belt of like guest stars. We'll get into some of them as we go on. This episode we're discussing the first four episodes of the season, and then in a couple of days we'll be back to talk about the last half of the season. Okay, so the first four episodes, I'm just quickly go through the credits. First four episodes are written by a combination of Donald Glover, Francesca Sloan, Yvonne Hannah Yi, and the Igbo sisters Adama and Adane Igbo. The first two are directed by the great, truly great Hiro Murai. Episode
Truly
three is
great
directed
hero.
by Karina Evans, and episode four is directed by Christian Springer. Okay, TMT,
Mm.
what are your general thoughts on this first four episodes? What did you think during these first four episodes?
I really wanted to like it, but I was also
Hmm.
really prepared to be critical because,
I love that you just said that, but I'll get to that. We'll continue.
yeah, Donald is my boy. You
Hmm.
know, I like the way he writes characters. He's very focused on making characters not perfect,
Hmm.
even when they're cool. Just a little bit insecure and weird, and it's nice. And we'll get to it, I imagine. But episode four is my favorite episode. You probably know why. And I think I think the first episode is kind of shaky
Hmm.
in the sense that like it's kind of it's just it's trying to it's supposed to be like an episode for world building,
Hmm.
but if you watch the show you realize the actual world of the show is the relationship between the characters and the relationship between their targets and the characters and the targets and their environment. So um halfway through the first episode you kind of start to realize that like, oh, the reason a lot of clunky world building isn't happening is because the world that this show inhabits isn't a clunky one. It's like the same messy human emotions and like desires and happenings, but the actual system itself is very straightforward. It's a simple spy agency,
Hmm.
and they partner up to people, put them in a beautiful apartment, give them a shit ton of money, wine, cars, and clothes, and then they have them basically
Kill people.
help them run the free world.
Hmm.
I think you figure out by the fourth episode that they don't really have their freedom,
Yeah, and
and
someone argued
it's
that you should have figured out in
yeah,
the first episode, which I think we'll touch on as well.
yes, it kind of goes to the first episode, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
okay. So, have you seen episode 4 to 8?
5 to 8. No, no,
5 to 8,
because
sorry. Okay, I
have
didn't
you seen
because
episode
of
five
you.
to eight
No, I
TNT?
haven't. No, I
Because you
haven't.
had
I didn't.
explicit instructions. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I remember because we spoke about this when I think it was me, you, and Ayo when we were reviewing this other show. What is it? Gen V.
I think it was when Bulu, well, the Gen
Yeah,
V,
me
yeah.
and Bolu. I said me and Bolu when we were reviewing Gen V. I was very adamant on not
Yeah.
overseeing because I like to move at the same pace as you.
Yeah.
But
No, personally, I think audiences know, and because I know when I'm listening to a podcast when somebody
they,
has watched ahead and they're trying to not like give
when they
something, and
know
it's
too
like
much,
it doesn't
yeah,
feel real. It feels like, oh, okay, whatever. I don't like
yeah,
it. I don't want. I feel like the audience feel bad if we're doing that. I just feel like I want to
yeah,
be in the same space as they are in. Okay,
yeah.
my thoughts. I like you. I really wanted to love the show because Donald Glover is probably one of the most creative people that I'm most interested in, just from a
Mm-hmm.
conceptual point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's the word. It's conceptual. Like, what? How do we turn this thing to something interesting?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I think so. I think the first two episodes are a bit slow
Mm,
and a bit clunky and whatever.
mm,
But I was talking to Ibuka, like I said, he's watched the episode, and I was talking to him about the episode. And I was like, oh, I think I realized that I really wanted to love this show, and I
mm-hmm,
think that was now making me more critical because I knew
mm-hmm.
that I was predisposed to liking it. So I'm like, okay, let me
Yeah.
actually be more critical about it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I thought the first episode, but even at that, like it was still fun. Like I think I watched
It's
the first
fuck.
three
It's
in
so
one
fun.
night. Yeah,
It's so fun.
so even when it was slow, and then you could still already see like this chemistry was already building and things like that. And then once they sleep together, like the show just takes a different gear.
Mm-hmm.
Which can I just say, I think that goes to show that nothing bad ever comes from sleeping with your coworkers. Like just sleep with your coworkers, guys.
Holy shit!
You
Do not
never
sleep with
know.
your coworkers. Do not
You never
absolutely
know what
sleep
could
with
happen.
your.
But yeah, no, I think so. 3 and 4, I think three again. You feel like now it's like it's more cohesive and everything. And then 4 is just a lights out episode, man.
Mm,
4 is just a banger of an episode, which I think we're going to spend
mm,
most of our time talking about. Um, but before that, I want to talk about like the I want to talk about the rom com element of the show and like the
mm,
chemistry between the Smiths, between Maya
yeah.
and Donald.
Yeah.
Is the rom com working for you?
Hundred
Are you
percent.
buying it?
100%.
100% fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Were
think
you on board from the beginning, from episode one, or did it take you a while?
I think even from the trailer, I was just like, I don't really see this chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And you realize they put it like that in the trailer because they want you to see how it builds. And holy
Mm,
shit, it does build. It starts from this guy who's kind of obnoxious and cocky, and this girl who's like antisocial
and
and
type
a bit
A.
a type A, super, kind of cold. But also like you also realize that like John is also a little type A as well, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
He's very switched on all the time. And she's the same in many ways. And you realize that like they both have a situational awareness that like helps them bond really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think you're right. Like it's just like this show is very much a what is this show
Mm,
until they get together. And then when
mm-hmm.
they do, you know exactly what the show is. Especially the last two episodes. I
Three
realized
and
that
four,
like
yeah.
yeah, I would say even two, three, four. Um I think the first episode was a brief intro slash character study for the first two characters.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I imagine the rest of the show is going to do is every target they have or every main interaction they have with an outside party. That outside party is kind of the it's the character we're examining, and sometimes we're examining the character just to like gauge the character, or we're examining the characters and how they reflect to the main characters.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be a reflection of what does this character mean for our main character? Because it's obviously
Yeah,
it's funny and it's quirky or whatever, but titles are like first date, second date,
Mhm.
couple friends, things like that. So it's like
Mhm.
I think with the first episode, you're right. They're trying to they're almost kind of like sizing each other up, trying to figure out. Donald is trying to push, trying to get information. She's not
Mhm.
really, and I love those scenes of like her typing and he's speaking. I don't know. It's just something so simple, but it just felt. And then she's laughing to something he said, and it
Mhm.
was like, oh, this you can feel the chemistry. I've never seen that
Yeah.
happen before. It was like usually it's text and text or whatever, but this
Mhm.
was just yeah. I don't know. I love those scenes, and you can feel them. Okay, they're going. And the second episode, you can even see that they're not on the same wavelength. Like they both
Yeah.
does Totoro, which I think we'll get to. We'll get to him as well. And then by the time they start to sleep with each other, they're like on the same wavelength. They're almost
Mm.
like they're still arguing and stuff, but like in terms of the mission, they seem to be
Yeah.
they know what the other person's thinking. So three, and then by four, I think by four they're just like basically a well-oiled machine.
Mhm.
Um, and I just love that we're seeing these guys like fall in love in
Mhm.
the midst of this very weird and like high risk
Dynamic.
arranged marriage. Like it's
Yeah,
like
Rich right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not it's yeah. I mean, the movie is so different because obviously these guys are already quote unquote in love, and at this
Mhm.
point probably have fallen out of love, but they don't know. Like they fell in love as normal people, essentially, quote
Mhm.
unquote. This place they are put it together, and then it's almost like Love Island. They're like, okay,
Yeah.
like go love each other or go
Yeah.
uh
Do you
sleep
think
with each other.
the company is like measuring compatibility when they
I
assign
think so.
agents to
I
each
think they
other?
probably
Yeah.
feel like we have a better chance of you guys staying together long enough if you guys actually end up like love each other. Like I mean, Wagner Moura mentions that was it Wagner? Yeah, he was
That was
reassigned.
him.
So
Yeah.
no, yeah, I mean like he was reassigned. I was trying to remember if it was him or his Jane that said
No,
that
it
they were
was him.
reassigned. But like yeah, so we don't know what happened to the partner and everything.
Mhm.
I just want to highlight two scenes in terms of like the rom com and the chemistry thing. I think the train scene at the end of episode three,
Mm.
like the whole farting thing, I loved
Mhm.
it.
It was so good.
And then I loved the bedroom scene in episode
After
four.
dealing with Wagner and
Yes.
when they're
And I
talking about how
think
much they hate them, it's
like I
so
think it's like a thing,
like
right? Couples love shitting on their couple friends, right? It's like that
yeah,
as like a
yeah.
bonding moment.
It's like I think if you're in a relationship, it's the top two way to really bond.
Hmm,
It's
hmm.
just you and your person shitting on other people. It will really bring you together.
I
And
love that scene so much. It was
yeah,
just like, and then just
and
the things like we clapped
I
for that. Like Donna's like we clapped for him sneezing. Like, it's like I
why
think he
do we
faked
do
that
that?
last one. It's just like
He says you have to breathe.
it's his accent. You just want to care for him.
Something we do every day.
Um, it's so funny because when
uh,
he says when Wagner's John says you have to breathe, like Donald is like, oh wow, insightful or beautiful,
yeah,
something like that. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, wait, really? Like,
No, in my head I was like, that's actually really insightful because I thought he was saying like you have to remember to breathe so you can think and process
I
everything
thought he was like you
properly.
have to control your breathing because if you control your breathing, you can control
Your
like your heart
emotions
rate and
and
stuff
your heart.
like that. Yeah, it was like,
Yeah,
but
that's why I was
it's just like
thinking as well.
it's just
No,
like
breathe.
breathe.
It's
But no,
crazy.
I love, and then I think the two other scenes are kind of connected. Is when in the bathtub in three when she's like, I really care for you, and then that whole scene of them saying I love you
Mm,
and her like saying I love you and like say it back and like her being like this is so it was I don't know man like you can write that but writing is like 40%,
yeah,
maybe even less. Like that's the performance is there that is
yeah,
like we believe that this high functioning assassin is also at this point is like a child
yeah,
saying I love you for the first because it's the first time she said I love you. She said she has never said it before, saying I love
yeah.
you for the first time and like it's a joke and she's like why do I feel this way, like this is
Hmm.
so stupid. And it's just like yeah, I think Maya was great in that scene. I just really love
Yeah,
that scene.
she's really good. She's really good. It also reminds me of like I think the most Atlanta moments in the entire show.
Hmm.
Episode 4 was extremely Atlanta.
Extremely Atlanta because you don't know what's about to happen next.
And I think the moment where she says, "Oh, that's very noble of you for dating a one-armed woman," and he's like, "What? What the fuck are you talking about?" And guy,
That's
I
very
go back,
Atlanta.
I go back and watch the scene, and I'm like, "There's
And I'm
no
like,
way."
it's so hidden. You cannot tell. They are so good at this. Like, I want to say like 3 times. I'm like, our hand is
Dog,
always covered. It made no sense.
it is such bizarre writing, but it is so good.
The only
And
thing is
I'm
that
just like,
Atlanta, and we
yeah,
should mention that Francesca Sloan worked with Donald on Atlanta. She also wrote for
yeah, she did.
Fargo. I think the first season of Fargo.
Mhm.
Um, Atlanta would never have shown us if she had 2 hands or not. That's the difference.
Yeah, they would never
Atlanta
have
would have
shown
left
that.
you would have left you guessing.
They would have just shown her
Um,
face.
yeah, but no,
Yeah.
I love that both the writing and directing in those 2 scenes, the train scene and the bedroom scene, like they allow the writing and directing allow those scenes to breathe
Mm,
and just keep on going for as long as they need to.
mm,
Like they normally a scene like that will probably cut after the first joke. But like we probably won't see the whole thing about them making fun of Wagner Mora's accent
mhm.
or like that scene. It brings us into their world. It's like, oh, it
Yeah,
endears us to them. Like we're really invested in it because like that scene goes on for longer than it would in a normal show. And I just really love they were like they didn't stop it prematurely. I really like that.
yeah. It was like, do you think that was improvising?
I either that or these guys are such good actors. Like, because I mean, yeah, acting whatever you can act in laugh, but there's some laughs that you just like that laugh.
Yeah,
You can't be that good
yeah,
an actor to create that laugh, right? So like, I think some
yeah.
of it was definitely improvised. And there are points in this, and again, because Maya is
Oh my, yeah.
obviously
Sorry, I
sorry,
was gonna say the Dolly Parton Sade conversation is so good.
it's so good, and like
It's so good. I've had
it's
that
such
conversation in real life before.
fair, but it's such great like writing because you're like if you look at it on the page, you're like, how do we get here? And it goes from like Eminem to seeing Eminem at a concert to
Hmm.
Eminem hitting his mom. And it's like, how can you still be cool at this age?
Hmm.
And like, it flows. It's yeah. It's I really like.
And it starts from him playing a clip song, which is
Mhm.
crazy.
And then he's
Yeah,
like, oh,
it's
is this
just
Eminem? It's like, no, it's clearly not Eminem, but you're not black, so, and I don't say you're white, but you're not black, so you probably think that it's Eminem, and it definitely flows very well.
I think Wagner is
Um,
white for all intents and
I
purposes.
guess
It's
yeah,
just
for
not.
instance,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, okay. So I have a question. Do you have anything I want to say about this? No, I think yeah, I just really like that they allow those scenes to breathe and allow us to get invested in those characters.
Mm.
Oh,
To
speaking of
breathe.
improvising, it's really breathe. I mean, Maya is also in her own right, like a very talented writer and performer.
Performer.
She had her own
Yeah.
show, Pen 15. And did you watch? I never watched Pen 15.
I never watched Pen 15 either. I didn't know
Yeah,
she. Also, I didn't know she penned it.
hold on,
Yeah. No,
hold
I
on.
wasn't. Yeah. Yeah.
If
This
only
is
you had your
this is
soundboard.
this is why
Um,
this is why you have me here.
Yeah. No, but yeah, no. So in terms, I'm sure they improvised many times and everything. Um, what was your best guest star performance across these first 4 episodes?
Best guest star performance. Oh, definitely not episode 2. Even though I really liked the episode as a whole thing. Three was three
Three
was
was
it was
Sharon
100%.
Horgan,
It was John Tutu. What's his name?
Totoro, but that was episode 2.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking episode 3 when I said definitely not the Sharon
Oh,
Hogan
okay.
one. Yeah, even though she
Mhm.
was really good in it, she
She
was
was
quite
good, but
good.
it was not like oh wow, this is
John was sexy
John
in
was
episode
sexy.
2.
He was weird. He was like
Evil a
crazy
little.
evil, and then when he gets
There was a little bit of Epstein
oh, there was
in
a
there.
lot of Epstein. There was a lot of Epstein when you talk about like the
Yeah.
islands, and so okay for the whole time I was watching this episode, I thought it was gonna be Totoro, but
Mm.
man, Wagner Moura and Parker Posey came through in episode 4, and I was
Man.
like, I was, I
Mm.
was, I was so on board. I never knew if they were gonna, because I was always afraid, like, are these guys gonna kill? Are they gonna attempt to kill
Hmm.
Donald and Maya? Are they going to try to fuck them? I was just like, you never really know what's going to go. And even like the scene when they're like sending Maya and Donald in the in the helicopter,
Yeah.
and they're just gesticulating outside and saying random, and they're so happy they've just done coke. I was like, this is I
Did
am
they
in
do
love with
coke?
this car. Yeah, because Maya's like, I think they're doing lines of coke downstairs when they're leaving the house. I think to like pick them up from because they're drinking, obviously.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
to
yeah,
pick
yeah, yeah. That
so
makes sense. Actually, I
so,
missed that. But
so
yeah, you were
insane.
saying you asked if are they trying to fuck them or kill them? I think what they did was so much worse.
I also think it was the same thing because
Yeah,
I think this is I think this is the Mr. and Mrs. Smith version of like going out, seeing a couple at a bar, going back to theirs, and like being involved in like a swinging situation.
yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
like they're like, oh, this couple are so cool, and like they want to hang out with us. Oh shit, I think they want to kiss us, and like, oh fuck, they
Hmm.
want to fuck us, and like because Maya and Donald are so like scared and like, but was also kind of turned on, and like, do we
Yeah.
do this? And she was like, I'll do it. And it's like, so I think this is the aspire version of that kind of scenario. Because I was like, and then obviously, so what happens that they leave you hanging, and then you come back home being like, what the fuck did we
What
just do?
what did
Why
we
did we
see
do
in this?
that?
They're
I
old and weird.
hate those guys and I never want to see them again. So I never think it was that version of that. But do you think speaking of you said that you think it was worse, so do you think like and I want to let's talk about Totoro in a second, but do you think like they knew how bad it was gonna get with the general? Was that his name? No, the captain. The captain is his name. Do you think it was a
Um,
trap essentially?
yes, I do. I think they
Okay.
knew.
That's
I
interesting.
think they knew. I think they just didn't want to. I feel like I don't think they are um as good as Childish and what's her name, Maya.
But they're super high risk though, and they've survived this long.
Yeah, that's their business. I'm sure they're good on some level, but I feel like they didn't think they could do that mission without killing kids.
Fair. Fair, 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 fair.
So they sent those these guys to go and do it,
Fair.
and these guys did it without killing
Oh my
kids.
god. He's like, what? Well, they are small, so like it's probably easier to fight up. And Donald's like, no, we didn't kill any kids. Like,
And he's like, "Oh, oh yeah, that's an option.
yeah,
Okay, fair
I
enough."
guess you could do that.
But
No,
he did knock a kid out. He punched one.
yeah, but he didn't kill him at least.
Yeah, fair
Um,
enough.
I think they are listed as being recurring guest stars, so we'll probably see them again.
Mm.
Wagner Moura and Parker Posey, I think.
I
Because
hope we
we
see
should
them
mention, I
again.
don't know if you caught this. I didn't catch this. I watched this episode like 3 times. I watched this scene, like kept on rewinding him. I didn't hear what he said. Did you catch that he said that they've killed Smiths before?
No,
So I maybe like obviously
it's the way he said it.
it's the way he said it
Because I rewound that part and
so
I
many
couldn't pick it
times.
out.
It was Ebuka that told me, and it makes me
It
because I was
was
like,
like,
why?
wait,
I
wait,
kept on
hold on.
hearing
Is it,
mother's milk and mother's. I was like, what's going on? What are you talking
there's
about?
food in his mouth, right?
Yeah, ice
Yes,
cream, and then his accent
ice
as
cream.
well.
So basically, he's quiet, and then he says it, and then the room is quiet, and then he licks the spoon, right?
Hmm.
I vividly remember going back to that
I
scene,
mean,
like, what the hell are you
hopefully
saying?
because obviously I'm watching screeners. Hopefully, people that are watching the actual thing, maybe
They'll
they
have
were maybe,
subs.
and they
Yeah.
will definitely have subs. Yeah, maybe the sound will be better because screeners sound is not 100%. But yeah, because I was hearing mother and like it changes the entire scene because like I had mother's milk, I had mother's maid. I was like, what's he saying? But I
Hmm.
think it was like some other Smith or something. Anyway,
Do you think the Smiths that died in the beginning, the
hmm
Skarsgård Smith, do you think those were Smiths that killed them?
oh, I 100% think there were Smiths that killed him, 100%,
Yeah,
especially because of what Wagner Moura said there. But then I thought,
like a gay couple Smiths.
no, it was a man and a woman.
Really?
Do you think that was a man that shot?
The
I think it was a
sniper. I
man
thought
and
it
a woman.
was a man. I thought it was a man with long hair.
So here's the thing: when I watched the show first time, I thought it was what's her name, Maya Eskin.
Oh,
It's definitely a woman, by the way. It's definitely a woman. I thought it was Maya Eskin,
okay.
but now I'm like, oh, maybe it was Parker Posey. I don't know. Maybe that was Parker
Yeah,
Posey and Wagner Moura.
yeah.
Um, it makes a lot of sense that these were Smiths that tried to escape, and obviously they were gunned down. Do you? I had this under like questions, like asking now
Mm,
since we're there. Do you think they? Because that's Alexander Skarsgård, who
mm-hmm,
obviously I think anybody that watches him on TV loves because
mm-hmm.
he always brings it, and Aizen Gonzalez.
Yeah.
So, do you think they come back to play some sort of role? Like we find out how they got there. Do you think that's just the NBC of them?
I
Because if
want.
it's last we see of them, then I want to know like why Alex likes Donald so much.
Yeah.
Like why does he? Because last time he did the Atlanta season 4
Yeah.
episode, and now
Yeah.
he's doing 5 minutes here. It's like, does Donald have something on him? Are they just in love? What's going on?
I think he just really likes HBO, honestly,
But
and
this
like
is
HBO.
Prime.
Yeah, and Atlanta was FX, but like I think he just likes quality
Oh, just
filmmaking
like
and
quality,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, like he just wants to be in all the good stuff and pick up maybe a guest actor Emmy here and there or recurring
Yeah, but
character
like
Emmy here and there.
if he, I mean, it's so
Like
because
when
obviously it's
Succession, like
cause
when Succession won the Emmy for best drama, he was on stage with them, and I was like, I guess
I mean
technically he was a
he was
big
no,
part of that
he
season.
was nominated this season best supporting actor.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
I know. Yeah, it's just
he's
like
yeah, you're right. I mean, he finds his way. I mean, he's a great actor.
he's a great
Nobody
actor.
denies that.
Yes,
But
he's
like, he could
also
easily
yeah.
have been in the Wagnamora
Oh,
John.
oh, that would have been
That just break your brain.
insane.
He would have been
That would
so
have
good.
been is if it was him and her, his Jane as well. What?
I mean, this is
They,
again.
they, I feel like they still would have liked them when they came back from Colombia or wherever the hell they were.
He's so tall. Like we
Yeah,
can't not. Like,
I can't wait to see him again.
I'll forgive him this one time. No, no, no. I
Yeah,
mean, obviously, no respect to Wagnamora and Parker Posey. I think I personally am in love with their performances so far.
and they're
Can't wait to
really
see
good
them
looking
again.
people as well.
And also, yeah,
Yeah,
Wagnamora. Every time I see Wagnamora, I have to remind myself that it's him
that he was Pablo.
because he was Pablo. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh,
Uh,
that's actually how you look in real life now. Because
like
he was
he's
in the
actually he's a hot guy in real life, and then in that show he's like a round,
yeah, he was in the
insecure
Civil War
man.
trailer, the Alex Garland Civil War trailer.
Okay,
Speaking of, have you seen that?
no, I haven't.
Check it out. Just because Jesse Plemons, my boy Jesse Plemons,
Yeah,
appears for like 5 seconds in that trailer, and
okay.
he's insane. Like he's so good in that trailer. Like just like oh my god. Anyway, um,
I'm going to watch that after this.
yes, what the Civil War Alex Garland trailer. But what was I gonna say? Should we talk about Totoro? Just
Hell
his
yeah,
performance,
hell
and just
yeah,
like how good, how light out. He was just there. I was like, I'm here to. He was like,
yeah.
who wants to get nuts? He was just like, I'm ready. I'm ready to do
I
whatever
don't.
you want me to do.
Yeah, I don't think I realized how what's the word? I don't think I realized how floaty he could be because most of the time he plays these. I've always like compared him to a sort of Shia LaBeouf in my head, like just one of those guys that plays like very animated characters.
Hmm.
And I think my first, I think the first time I really saw him in anything was this. It wasn't Tarantino. It was
Wasn't it? Wasn't Lebowski?
it wasn't Lebowski. I'm trying to remember the name. It was he got an Oscar nomination for it. It's called it wasn't Do the Right Thing. That's a Spike Lee film. It's you know it. That's the
How
thing.
old is it?
It's like 90s
This
or
is incredible podcasting,
80s.
by the way. People just listen to us try to remember where we saw John
Yeah,
Turturro.
just what was the big tutorial one? The one that like kind of I guess it no I forgot to. I forgot
Barton
to.
Fink.
Oh. Barton Fink. God, I love you. I
Okay,
love the way your brain
that's
works. It's Barton
well. I
Fink.
mean, it was Google, but that's Barton Fink is Cohen. I'm sure. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Cohen
yeah,
brothers.
yeah, yeah. It's Joe
Yeah.
Corn. Yeah, yeah. It's. I love that movie. I love that movie. He's always been like one of those guys, like those,
Hmm.
like him and John Goodman. You know, like those guys that like are funny but just turn
Hmm.
in Oscar level performances.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and
Mm,
I think the word here is eccentric. He's just like he's going on all fours. He's like
yeah,
he's,
yeah,
he's being a dog. Yeah, and I just like, and then obviously when he has both doses of the serum and he's on stage, I was like, this is a lights out performance, man. He's just here to have fun and everything.
yeah. The way they break his
Okay,
body is nasty, bro.
I have some lingering questions I want to ask you before
Yeah.
we wrap up.
I have questions I want to
Um,
ask you too, so you go first.
okay, so I've done the Skarsgård one. Actually, you never answered. Do you think they come back?
I
Like, do you think
hope
they
they
play a
come back.
role in the back half?
I don't know if they do. I can't really. I don't think so, but I hope they
Hmm.
do. I don't think they will, but I hope they
Maybe
do.
it was just a warning. Maybe their
Yeah,
role in the show just to be a warning to like this. You don't get out.
yeah. Also, they got
Um,
shot to hell. I guess like their
oh, no,
injuries are
I
also
don't think they
very.
come back in like in life. I just meant as like, do we see maybe how they got to where they are? How they?
Oh
left? And like, do we get an
I,
episode where they're like, okay, this is how they decided to
no,
leave and
I,
everything?
I don't
Yeah,
think the show has enough real estate for that. I think
fair.
also, but I do think the way they actually die is very vague in the sense that you can bring them back, like
Nah, those guys are
they could
dead.
be
What are you
alive.
talking about, TMT? Those guys are dead.
He got shot to his face now.
Yeah, and she got shot in the chest.
Yeah, people survive all the time, but she got 50 cent. He got shot to the mouth.
Fair.
So like those are
Yeah, but the rest
actually
of his mouth
very
is like, yeah, I get what you mean, but I think no,
yeah.
yeah, anyway, but I don't think they're coming back to life. Anyway, okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
my next question is Ursula Cabrero too big for a one scene appearance on this show? So if you don't know who that is the woman who plays Donald's ex. She
One
You
hand.
might know her as Tokyo from Money Heist.
She's gorgeous, by
So,
the way.
so she is gorgeous. So my question is she too big for a one scene appearance, or is she definitely coming back?
I don't think she's coming back.
I found it noteworthy that Benjamin, her son, is played by Donald's son in real life, like Donald's real life son.
That's Donald Glover's boy.
Yeah.
Wow, that
So
boy
he's
is not okay. No,
yeah, he's very light. So I'm like,
wow,
because the first time I saw him, I was like, oh, wait, that must be Donald's like son
her,
with this woman. So I don't know. Again,
yeah,
that was like lingering. Maybe she was only there for like for the arm joke and to show that like Maya's
yeah,
Jane can be jealous. Maybe that's her only point was like, okay, but like, so like Cabrera, I don't know how big she is. Do you know what I mean? Like, how
yeah.
big is she in America and in Hollywood? Is she too big for a
I don't think
once in
she's.
appearance?
Yeah, I don't think she's too. I know Money Heist was huge, but
Yeah. Okay. Then the next
Americans, yeah,
question
gone.
is the Paul Dano of it all.
Oh,
Is
is that
he?
yeah?
No, what are you gonna
Is
say?
he? If he, yeah, you're trying to find out if he's from the underworld or part of the
Yeah,
underworld.
is he an agent? My question is he an agent or is he just a civilian that's going to get caught up in all of this? Like, is he going to like fall in love with Maya's Jane or Laika and then going to get like, what is he?
I,
Well, what do you
I
think?
think, I think, this show might end up being like an anthology in a sense where it's just different Janes and Johns, or
For every
Johns and
season?
Johns, or Janes and Janes, yes. And that would be a cool way to do it. But yeah, I could be wrong. But I feel like this show is meant to show like the totality of their relationship, like the ups and
Mm-hmm.
downs. And right now it's been pretty up, even though they fight here and there. And I think they might go through a rough patch. And if they
Mm-hmm.
do, he's going to be there for her because they clearly have a bond.
Yeah.
They both have the
So you
gift
think
of
he's like a
the
civilian?
gab. I think he's a civilian.
Well, obviously, if he's a civilian, then that's not going to end well for him because he's going to get cut off.
He,
But that's interesting
yeah,
you said that because it leads to my last question, which is my most important question.
yeah.
And
What's
I
that?
have it there, like, surely with them growing like these feelings and being in love this early in the story, like, what the halfway point and they're like in love,
Yeah,
then surely like the second half has to be like
to
full of
decline.
heartbreaks and betrayals and deceit. And like, you feel like, I
Mm-hmm.
almost feel like the second half is going to be the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mm, mm,
Like,
mm,
is at some point it will probably be John versus Jane.
mm.
That might not be the entire, like, that might not be across all four episodes, maybe one episode, but like, you feel like they're not going to just keep on going up and up and up emotionally
No,
across
they
the
can't.
remaining four
People,
episodes. So
people do not. People don't work that way, especially people with the kind of high pressure job they have. Two
yeah,
people
and
as genuinely neurotic as both of those characters
their
are.
skill set, their inclination is to be secretive and to be
Yeah.
aggressive. So yeah, I think definitely, I think the second half will be a lot less heartwarming than the first half that we just watched.
Hmm.
What about you? You
Hmm.
said you have some questions. What are your questions?
I mean, my main question is, okay, so I have a theory
Mm-hmm.
that I was, and I know this is a crazy way to propose this, but like, has Paul Dano become attractive secretly over the last couple of years?
I
Because I
love
was
the fact that
watching
you
this,
said this.
yeah,
First of all, it's impossible for him to do because, like, think about his roles last couple of years that were the Batman and the Fablemans.
yeah,
Okay, and I guess and Dumb Money. None
and
of which is an attractive role. So
now he's a
it
handsome
it,
man.
it can't be any of the. movies that he's done that made him attractive?
I think it's just growth as a person.
No, no, yeah. So I like that you said this because when she said it, I was like, huh,
Mm,
huh. That was my reaction. I was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh wait, actually,
yeah,
I don't think. I think you might like. I think he's definitely presented in the show as like not. He's not like
oh,
no. He's not
he's
Scar. He's not
striking.
Skarsgård. He's not Brad Pitt attractive, but like he's like a normal person
Yeah,
attractive. And I was like,
yeah.
oh okay. I kind of get. I get what you mean. I get what you're going for in the show. So I wasn't
Like,
like
because
against it.
he has style, he
Yeah.
has wit, and he's just not an ugly guy. And I think
Hmm.
when you combine it, and even his sense of wit is very like calm, and like he's just very, he's not like trying to show you how smart he is. He's more
Yeah.
like asking questions like, oh, okay, so what do you think about, like, you you know that thing that like, what's the name of that actor that people do impressions of the most?
That's a long list. White, black,
Pete White kind of talks like this.
Christopher
Is
Walken.
Christopher Walker, yeah. And you know that thing he does where he's like talking to someone. He's like, he does those little
Yeah.
things with his
Yeah.
eyes, and it's like
Hmm.
he's trying to get to know you. I think he was doing that with his personality, like with his aura. So that was nice to see, and he was hot in the role,
Yeah.
which is interesting because I don't
Well,
think
maybe
many
not
people
hot,
can.
but attractive, I guess.
Yeah, attractive is the word.
Yeah.
Attractive is the word. Hot
Hot
is like
denotes a sense
objective.
of like uncontrollable
Yeah, hot is objective. Like
emotions.
what?
Yeah.
Good for him, man.
Mhm.
I love to
Um.
see. I love to see a good actor win.
Yeah. Speaking of guest actors, I think we can look forward to Michaela Cole in the second half.
Mm,
Ron Perlman as well in second. I don't know who else. I can't remember who else is there, but I'm sure there's some people that's still to come.
mm.
But yeah, I don't know. Any final thoughts on this first half?
Um, no. Bye bye.
Bye bye. No, okay, that was great. I mean, like I said, I've enjoyed
Yeah.
this first four, and I'm excited to see what will happen. I'm happy it's good. I'm happy like, and it's not just me being a Donald Glover stan or wanting the show to be good. As like, it's actually I think people will enjoy this. And yeah,
I'm happy. You're happy.
I'm happy you're happy too. I'm happy. I'm really happy you're happy considering how much you like fought for this show. It would have been a bit
Yeah.
depressing if it wasn't good. So,
Some
uh,
guys, but you saw the writing team. You see Donald. You see
yeah, that's true.
Francesca Sloan. You see Stephen Glover. What do you want? What do you think is going to
Hero
happen?
Murai,
You
the
remember?
guest
I think
cast.
you think these guys are going to come together and make a dog. One person in like, guys, I think we're making dog shit. One of them will say that. One of them
One
will
of
say
them,
it.
guys, we made Atlanta season two. Are we sure this is what we want to do? Like, are we sure we're on the right track here?
Like, what are we trying to achieve here? Let's calm down and let's examine
uh,
this. Yeah.
anyway, but
Um.
okay.
Yeah.
TNT will be back, guys. This episode, our episode on 5 to 8 to be out on Monday. So please check that out. As always, please check out the things we've covered. Recap episodes. They're all fun, largely spoiler free. The Bear season two. Please sign up for the newsletter and yeah, tap in because we'll be talking about movies over the next few weeks leading up to the Oscars. Okay, TMT. See you in a few days.
Please. Yes, but also please take time listen to my new podcast. It's called Summer Roach.
That's true. Yes.
Enjoy.
So listeners of this might who know TMT from Submarine and Roach might know that due to their shenanigans, like they
We got
finally got
kicked off.
they
Yeah,
finally got their
them boys came for us. I won't name them, but
so the
yeah,
new podcast is just Submaroach,
Summer Roach straight up.
available on all podcast platforms. I'll probably
Amen.
put a link to that in the episode description.
That would be lovely.
So yeah, if you're a fan and you've not seen the episode in the last few weeks, please go check for the new podcast,
Thank
and
you.
then hopefully they don't get kicked out again. If
Hopefully.
not, they'll
Yeah.
find a new way to create a
Dog.
new one with a new name.
Dog.
Um, but yeah, thank you guys for listening, and join us next week when I'll be joined by Oscar winner Daniel Kaluuya. Bye, guys.